Hey everyone, my name is Kevin Doan, and welcome to my ANSC 1011 final project. In my project, I went on a zoo expedition, but before we dive into that, let's take a look at the history of zoos. So to quickly recap the history of zoos based on the stuff that we covered in class, animals back in the day used to be novelty items. They were stored as trophies, and they really were left out to die, as you can see in this picture up there. By the time the 1500s rolled around, we started to get a little more curious about what these animals, what these species really were, and we wanted to, get a closer look at them. So as the 17 and 1800s rolled around, lots of animals were being distributed all around the world, from Asia, the Americas, being distributed everywhere, because everyone was just curious and just wanted to take a closer look and just physically interact with these animals. And that's clearly depicted in this picture up here. Many animals were interacted with back in the day by humans because we wanted to, sort of get a hands-on look at them. And unfortunately, nowadays, that is no longer a thing, because zoos, it started as centers of curiosities and exhibition and became centers of animal welfare and conservation. Now, I took a trip to Como Zoo, which was founded in 1897, built in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it is AZA accredited, as shown in the picture above, and features quite a variety of animals, as you can see on the slides. So we're going to take the time to go explore all of them and see what we observed. So I got to catch a bus, so I'll see you guys over there. So here I was, Como Zoo. The first thing that immediately struck me were the abundance of signs either explaining the exhibit animal's history or signs guiding visitors to ensuring the best living conditions for the animals. So, the basic, don't feed the animals, or no flash photography. Additionally, this extends beyond the scope of animals. Como Zoo has a whole section dedicated to trees and plants as well. They have beautiful gardens to showcase these species with the same level of respect, or so we think. Now, outside of the signs, there were many examples of this conservation effort being shown. In numerous enclosures, there were toys and other items present to keep the animals stimulated and also active. My personal favorite example was this contraption where the zebras had to put a bit amount of effort to be able to eat their food. Now, however, despite the effort, there are areas in the zoo that lack the same level of attention to detail, whether it's the outdated enclosures or limited enrichment opportunities or just straight up abandoned enclosures. These areas serve as reminders that there's always room for improvement in the quest to provide, the best possible environment for the zoo's residents, the animals. Another thing to point out is the appearance of the animals themselves. If you watch some of these clips, some of these animals do not look happy. They're missing that livelihood as opposed to their, wild counterparts, and much of it is to blame on the zoo's small enclosures. Take the birds as a counterexample. They have a huge amount of space to fly around the gardens and interact with different objects. But then the gorilla, on the other hand, these gorillas, they just look bored out of their mind, just inert and lethargic. Despite the room for improvement, Como Zoo manages to attract hundreds, if not thousands, of people every single day. The zoo has perfectly marketed itself as a place where the whole family can come, even including an attraction theme park called Como Town, which unfortunately isn't open yet. Anywho, it looks like our expedition is coming to an end, so let's head back. Whew, alright, so we are back. Let's recap about everything we just went over. Como showcases a wide variety of animals and do a generally good job conserving them and, giving them a decent environment to live in. While the efforts are there in educating the public, more efforts need to be put in housing them. Now, jumping off of that, let's talk about pros and cons of zoos, because most of the things that we saw at Como line up with what most people consider controversial or in favor of zoos. So here we are, we have the pros and cons of zoos. The pros, obviously the education, the awareness, all of those signs around Como were very reminiscent of this idea. Now, of course, the cons, the ethical concerns, housing animals in enclosures like that, and how that will have an effect on their long-term health, and of course, the entertainment factor. Now, this picture down here was this little show, this little aqua show that Como provides, and I don't know about you, but this is quite controversial to force animals to perform for people. But anywho, I really just want to say that this expedition has really opened my eyes to really discovering the things that go down in the zoo, and I hope in the future I can be a little bit more mindful of what the animals have to go through and what sorts of efforts are required to be able to ethically keep these animals safe and sound. And I hope this video serves the same purpose for you as well. Thank you.